Talking Ohio State football with Claire Crawford from theozone.net. You can join her on her podcast along with Joe Dexter. Oh, hail no. And the Buckeyes and the Terps get it together at Ohio Stadium this weekend with Ohio State a 30.5-point pick by Vegas. Maryland at 3-1. That's not surprising to me. It's somewhat surprising, or at least it would have been had you told me at the start of the season they have defeated Texas and Minnesota, and they've got a 3-1 record. Somewhere in between, they were losing quarterbacks and played an awful game at home against Central Florida, losing by a 38-10 count. But last weekend, I saw them play Minnesota, saw most of that game. Max Bortenschlager, he is the new Maryland quarterback. He's number 3 already, so Ohio State fans, you can relate. But Maryland working on their third quarterback in the 5th game after Tyrell Pigram, who much was expected of, went down in game number 1. And then you have Taysom Hill, who went down shortly thereafter after a big win on the road against Texas and the aforementioned loss to Central Florida. But they bounced back with the third-string quarterback against a solid Minnesota team on the road. So this Maryland team may be pretty good, and DJ Durkin may know what he's doing, considering he took over a program and only won 3 games, and they looked really awful and outmatched in the Big Ten 2 years ago. They went to postseason play against Boston College last year, and the program seems to be building and gaining some momentum, Claire.
And certainly they have the help. Urban Meyer even mentioned this week they've got the help of the Under Armour sponsorship and the money that funnels into that university, and the way they can recruit via Under Armour certainly helps them there. By the way, I thought it was pretty cool that the 3 teams that you mentioned, the 4 teams that you mentioned, OSU, Texas, Minnesota, and Maryland, all have one thing in common. They're all Urban Meyer guys, every single one of those guys. PJ Fleck was an Urban Meyer guy. DJ Durkin, Urban Meyer guy. Tom Herman, Urban Meyer guy. And then Urban. So it's definitely interesting to see how intertwined they become. Urban was singing DJ Durkin's praises this week on not only how well he's brought the program along in this short amount of time, but how much he wanted him as a part of his staff long ago. So he definitely goes in respecting him, and he's a young guy that definitely has a lot of potential, and he definitely has brought the program along very far in a short amount of time.
So Maryland fans, that might be a bit of a warning, because this time last week, Urban Meyer was singing the praises of Chris Ash and the work that he's done at Rutgers. Then it was 56-0. So Maryland looks like a little bit better football team, but still the spread at 30.5 with the game in Columbus. Maryland off to a nice start. We were talking before we started to record, Claire, Ty Johnson, one of the unsung top running backs. I would put him in the top 15 to 20 range nationally, averaging a lofty 8.9 yards per carry. He scored 4 touchdowns. He had a pretty phenomenal season last year with over 1,000 yards at 9 yards per carry. DJ Moore is the guy on the receiving end with 30 catches and 5 touchdowns. So he is the main target for whoever's playing quarterback. And get used to the name Bortenschlager. And the Ohio State play-by-play announcer is going to have to spit that out a good 80 or 100 times this Saturday.